In this video, let's go over the common influencer marketing compensation options so that you know what your options are when you approach influencers. And when you approach an influencer, you can suggest a starting offer. Some experienced influencers probably will tell you, well, here's how I work. And so you may only have the options of working with them in the way that they like to work. For example, when people reach out to me and they say, join my affiliate program, I say, no thanks, I like to get paid up front, so here's my fee. And I don't really work in different ways just because I don't want to waste my time, because I don't know if their offer sells. But that's just my case. I have a certain way that I work. And the influencer might tell you, here's how I work, here's my fees, here's my rules. If they're experienced. If they're not that experienced, then you can suggest an option. And so here are some options. Most common is like a pay per post. For example, they do a blog post, or they do an Instagram post, or they do a Facebook post, and you kind of see, okay, they have a 10,000 followers on Instagram. You vetted those followers, they're mostly legitimate, and you're like, okay, I can pay for that. And that's pretty straightforward. They get paid upfront, which they like, and you get some promotion, which you kind of know what to expect. So this is reasonable. There's also an option for you to test them out. So for example, maybe this influencer can promote you on a regular basis and you just don't know if it's worthwhile. You ask them for a discounted first promotion and say, hey, if you drive sales, I'm going to advertise with you long term on a regular basis. For example, somebody recently approached me and they said, I have a Facebook group with 5,000 Fiverr freelancers. And because I have a course about Fiverr marketing, they said, I'll promote your course there, but pay me up front. And I'm like, well, I don't know who you are. I don't know how engaged this group is. I'm not going to just trust you blindly. I just met you 5 seconds ago on the internet. And so I said, let's do a trial run. And if it sells, we'll just split revenue. And then they really didn't like that, but then they came around to it. And then guess what? Their 5,000 followers bought like 0 of my course. It's just not an engaged audience, wrong audience. Who knows what the real issue was? I didn't build that group. I don't know how they built that group. I don't know who the people in it were, but 0 sales. Out of a relatively big number, you'd expect some sales at least, especially since that group was actually quite focused on some topic. So that's an example of how I had a hard no, like I can't promote with you. I need a trial. And then if it works, great, I can do this long term. So that's an example of that. Then you can do a pay per sale model, which really is what I wanted to do long term with that person. We were going to split the revenue long term. That's better for you if you want sales. If you want direct revenue, then you can measure sales if you give them a unique tracking link, and then you can track how many people came from that link, how many people bought, so you'll know what the results were. Or especially if you give them an affiliate link, you can exactly measure how many sales there were. So they get a cut of things they actually earned. Because if you pay them per post, they might sell nothing, but you've wasted money. With an affiliate situation, you de-risk your own marketing. The problem is the influencer doesn't love that because they get paid later. The influencer prefers pay per post. The risk is taken away from them. You prefer to take the risk away from you. And so whichever influencer you work with, depending on how good they seem, how influential they truly are, you can choose whichever model works for you. And if they tell you, hey, I only do pay per post, but you don't sense a level of trust there with them, then you just maybe don't do that. But if it's a good influencer that has a strong online brand across multiple channels and a lot of engagement, then you say, okay, maybe that's an easier risk to take and just pay them for their post, because they're probably not going to do the pay per sale affiliate model. You can also pay them per traffic sent. Especially if you give them a tracking link, you can track the traffic they send you, or you can even pay them like per engagement. Let's say you're after brand engagement and you want likes or comments or something like that. So you can figure out a model how to pay for engagement. Engagement is too time consuming to negotiate and track, but at the same time, you want to make sure that there is true, real engagement on the posts. And another way you can compensate an influencer is gifting. Say you have a product or service, you can gift them free access to your product or service. If they're a micro influencer, that might be enough, or that might help you decrease the actual price that you have to actually pay them. But what's interesting is you can give them a gift that can become a giveaway to their audience. So they can run a free contest to their audience. Let's say you're a camera company and you can give away one camera to an influencer in photography, but then there's a contest created for your camera and there's so much buzz. So it's actually easier and cheaper for you to give away that camera than to actually pay cash. So I just want to make sure you understand gifting goes both ways. You can gift something just purely to the influencer, but you can also gift them something that they can give away to their audience and create a contest. Now, a little more about your goals. Some goals can be engagement. This is usually for social media growth, for branding, for awareness. If you're after sales or downloads or direct growth, then that's what you want to have as goals for your campaign. And that is tied to how you compensate. So if your goal is engagement, you can compensate by engagement so that your goals align with your compensation model and align with how you're going to track it. If your goals are to make sales, which is really for most people, then you really want to track traffic, conversion, and of course, the number of sales. That's the most important thing. So that completes our video. And with these strategies, you're now equipped to handle any kind of different influencer marketing situation and compensate them in the way that works best for them and for you.